What is up, Vechain? Welcome to the 14th Vechain monthly update space. We're switching things up here. So, instead of having a drink, in your hand, maybe, I mean, you might still have a drink in your hand. Might be a coffee this morning. I know I've got a coffee. We're here Sunday morning, kicking things off, trying to be a little bit more flexible to see if we can get some more people available. Really excited for today's discussion. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, it's following a pretty big one. But before we go and recap last space, go into the agenda for today, we got to kick it off to our co-hosts here who have been with us for coming up on a year and a half now, talking about some of these updates. Sig, we'll see you, man, because I'm assuming you're probably two coffees deep after UFC 296 last night.
Yeah, I actually wasn't in Vegas.
Oh, wait, you weren't?
No.
Oh,
I
thank God.
didn't go to
I
this.
thought you were going to be violently
Yeah,
hungover today. So it's just a smaller group that's hungover.
yeah, exactly. No, but I think I think last week was a really good space, or last month, I should say. We kind of like dove a little deeper into VChain itself and getting some real value out of these updates, and I think we want to continue building off that momentum. So I think moving forward, we're gonna keep that as our main focus and get some updates around the ecosystem and see what everyone's doing, everyone's building, and make sure that we're getting the proper support to those that are doing the right thing. So happy to be here, excited for what's to come. We got some really cool stuff to talk about today, and I know VChain's cooking up some really interesting behind the scenes. So excited to tap in with them and hear what they got going on.
Ferg, how we doing, man?
Good, man. Good. I went and saw Shane Gillis last night, so I'm just drinking some water this morning, recovering. That was a good show, a lot of fun. But yeah, today should be fun, man. I don't know if we'll have the same size audience or not. It's on the weekend and it's close to the holidays. But guys, go ahead and click that like and that share on the space. Let's make sure that we get this out to as many people as possible. And we've got another fun agenda for today.
And before we go around to our speakers, we are going to go, that agenda and dive into things for, kind of setting the stage today. First we'll wrap up with we'll start with what was going on last month, because like we've mentioned a few times, it was a pretty big space. It was big enough to where we had the man, Sonny Liu, joining us. And we talked through the hot topics of addressing tokenomics and diving deeper into some partnerships. We chat around the tokenomics situation with, VTHO inflation and kind of some ideas with how we can address this. Community shared a lot of their concerns, a lot of their questions directly with Sonny Liu and the foundation. And Sonny Liu heard them out and said, yes, we are addressing some of these things. And we even have some things already in motion where it sounds like their launch date, late February, early March, for some really cool ecosystem updates that maybe we'll dive even further into today. We also discussed how the Vechain Grant Program does need some improvements. It needs some improvements to onboard more projects, increase the accessibility to it. And we had an awesome discussion on it. We had some great community members up, sharing their thoughts, their questions. And I personally am really excited to dive back into it today. And then, of course, we talked about those partnerships. Vechain shared a little bit more about what they're doing with the big dogs they're working alongside. And of course, give us some insight into what's coming and what's next, which was all very exciting. And so, for today's agenda, we're going to dive back into some of those topics, but we're going to kick off here with our man Sigtoshi going over some UFC updates, because he's got a really fun space that's going to be happening here in a few weeks that we encourage you all to attend. From there, we're going to have, Ferg help us walk through some of the new tech updates that happened in December. We'll ask Jake here his thoughts on what they've been working on and some of the new things that they've been launching. And then, of course, we're going to dive back into those hot topics, hear what's going on with the grant program feedback, hear what's going on with the tokenomics feedback, and anything else we might want to discuss today in the open community portion. Now, I will mention, we're going to try and keep this space a little for 2 hours today. So we'll see what that does, but that doesn't mean we won't be answering a ton of community questions. So let's rip them. Let's get ready to get started. And let's go around the horn here to some of our speakers. Vechain, Jake, my man, how are you? First Sunday monthly space. Welcome to it.
Hey, Connor. Hey, guys. How are we all doing today? Yeah, glad to be here. Nice Sunday, chilled vibes. It's a better time zone for me as well. It was a great thing. I'm feeling slightly rusty after last night. With some friends having a few beers, but feeling all good now and ready to dive into ecosystem updates.
did you limit yourself a little bit? You were preparing for it. You knew the party
Oh,
was
of
coming. You
course.
knew the spaces was
Pint of
coming.
water before
But of
bed.
course, you had a great
Yeah,
time.
hydration, all that stuff. I was making sure I was
Oh, did it right.
ready for action.
Did it right. I love it. Well, Exo Worlds, I see you're on stage with us here, team. You've been crushing it. How are things going?
Hey guys, everything's going great. Good morning. Happy Sunday to everybody. Development has been super exciting with the beta release for our FPS shooter game. Excited to be here and update myself on the ecosystem news. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Well, let's get ready to dive into things. We're going to hand it off and Sigtoshi to kind of set the stage with what's been going on with the UFC, some preview into the conversation that's going to be happening later this month. Sig, take it away, my man.
Yes. So I was kind of talking with um, the Vechain UFC team, and we were just talking about, just reminiscing a little bit about all the events that they've been putting on throughout this past year. They're actually awarded the unofficial title of like best sponsor for the UFC, and that's just a testament to the community showing up and showing out to every single event that the foundation team, put on and invited community members to, and they showed up to, it was like a crazy number out of like we'll just call it 50. It was like something like 47, that the VChain community came out to, and got to meet each other and just have a really good time in this unique experience brought to you by a Layer 1 blockchain foundation, Web3, and just bringing people together IRL to experience this. And it's just such a unique thing. And I think going into next year, this team has a lot more plans to leverage these assets to get more eyes on VChain and what they're actually doing. So yes, it's this amazing partnership where you get to see VChain all over the UFC and the Octagon and commercials, et cetera, et cetera. But above and beyond that, what else? How else can we reach more people? How else can we get people investigating what VChain is and what VChain does and is going to be used for in the future? And I think the foundation has some exciting plans for that. So again, going into 2024, we're going to continue seeing more community members get out to these events, have opportunities to meet each other and meet people from the foundation, but also going to try and get some bigger name people who are well known within Web3 to go to these events too and experience it and get to chat with people from the foundation and learn more about VChain, because for a long time we all know that the foundation was so focused on garnering more and more enterprise adoption that VChain kind of lost its way in terms of mind share with the greater Web3 ecosystem, and it's starting to get it back. You're starting to see VChain come up along in the same conversations as the Ethereums and the Solanas and the Cardanos. VChain the name is starting to come into the same conversation. We need to keep doing that. We need to continue building off that momentum. So base, which is on December 27th, is just going to be a community space just talking about the various events throughout the year. People sharing stories, sharing pictures, sharing videos, talking about what it was like going to these things, because everyone comes away with a different experience and a different takeaway and what it meant to them. And I just want to hear from people. So we're going to do that. We're going to have some really good, really cool guest speakers coming up. In the announcement, you see Chow or Kaio is coming, but there's also going to be some more. So definitely set your reminders. We're also going to be doing some giveaways. We're going to give away a couple tickets to UFC 298, a merch package, and there's going to be some other announcements that are going to be made live on stage. So definitely I see Connor pinned it to the top. So go check out that pinned tweet, set your reminder, like, retweet, share it around. It's going to be a good time, I promise.
God, that's going to be so sick. I am so excited for that. I know I'll be tuning in, so I pinned it up there to make sure everybody else could join the fun as well. Is there any things that you can kind of tease us with? You mentioned that it sounds like Kaio's going to be joining, but he's not the only big name. I've been seeing a lot of let's say big named UFC fighters rocking some more VChain merch recently. Are we potentially going to see some more?
I plead the fifth. I can't say anything, but maybe. But there's going to be some people there that show up out that are not fighters as well. But very highly recognizable people within the MMA world, within UFC. So, but yeah, there will be some other fighters that show up too, tied to Vechain, and there's going to be some cool announcements. So don't miss it. I'm telling you, it's going to be fun.
Ooh, I'm pumped. Ferg, what you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on. This is really cool. I'm pumped that Sig is putting this together. I think with Fabio and them, if I'm not mistaken, and I would just encourage everyone. Just I kind of want to double down, go like and retweet that, and get that out there. I mean, this is much more than just NFTs and things like that. This is VeChain as a whole, and we need to get eyes on this. There's a huge fan base for UFC. People love that shit. We're starting to get more and more recognition from that. So let's spread this out far and wide. Let's get 1,000 people in there in the space. Let's get people pumped up, and you'll see it affect your wallets.
Yeah, and one last thing, Ferg, that's exactly why. Like, I made this recommendation to them when we were on the call. I was like, we should have a recap space and just kind of get everybody together so that we have a big Twitter space with a bunch of comments, because that's how it gets trending, and people talking about their experiences, etc. People jumping in from the Web2 MMA fan base and just kind of learning about VeChain and this experience that VeChain puts on for its community and stuff. So that was my initial thought, and then we continued talking. And when people are going to these events, they don't really know who's going to be going, so they kind of meet everyone there, and it's cool. But we were also thinking that up to the pay-per-view events, at least maybe doing a space like that Thursday before that weekend, so that people can meet each other on space and know who's all going, where to meet up, talk about the pre-parties, just kind of get pumped up for the weekend ahead and the fights and stuff. So I think we're going to start doing that too. My whole point of it is we need to continue talking about this, because again, it is such a unique experience. It is such a cool partnership that reaches beyond Web3. And we need to make sure that we're all being loud enough, and we're all sharing about it and talking to different communities, and reaching different people, so that they come check it out, and they come see what they can do to um, have the opportunity to go do this as well. So that's the whole point, is let's continue supporting this, and doing what we can as community members to push this initiative and reach a bigger audience, because um, it is special, and I think people will continue to catch on. We just need to continue giving it a little push.
No, I love that right there. And I think that like it's one of those things that where like every ecosystem has their core vehicles, their core channels that are going to onboard users. We've really leaned in here in the VeChain, world that UFC is an unbelievable onboarding tool. And I think you've seen the results over the last, year and a half of the early stages of where this partnership is going. But I loved one of the things that you said, Sig, about one of your recommendations, doing more pre-event work. I think that's kind of one of the missing things here in some of this event promotion and engagement with this community. And I think that that would be just an easy element to add to only increase more results, create more excitement. So I just wanted to point that out there. I really, really like that. And the other thing I wanted to call out is we have one of our speakers up here that I invited that I'm wondering if it's Wes or potentially Rand or someone else. We'll see. But, I know we had some Rare Evo team members at UFC 296 last night. Anything that you can share, Rare Evo team, from some of your thoughts and experiences going to these, because I know you've had the opportunity to interact with the V fam at quite a few.
GM, everybody. Connor, nice to hear you. Sigtoshi and Jake up there and Ferg, Exo Worlds, you guys are awesome. I appreciate the space. It's Rand. It's not Wes. I don't think Wes is alive yet after last night's UFC.
It looked like he had fun, man. A lot of fun.
But like you guys were saying, lots of content coming from these UFC fights. Like I know we are going to be putting out a ton of content around the fight last night, and working with Python and a few other content creators around what was going on in Las Vegas this weekend. And you guys are really killing it onboarding folks with what you're doing. I know Wes has had an amazing time every time he's gone to a UFC fight with VeChain, and just tons of great people and networking and connections have been made. So hats off to VeChain and what you guys are doing. It really is amazing, truly.
God, that's awesome. I love to hear that. And I'm looking forward to running into y'all at the next one. I mean, Jake, obviously you've been to some of these, and, being on the other side of it from the foundation's perspective, what are your thoughts on, kind of some of the things Satoshi's brought up here, and, just hearing about some of these experiences firsthand?
Yeah, I mean, I went to the event in London this year, and that was phenomenal. I think next year I'll actually probably be a bit more proactive with events, and I might be, present a lot more. So I might get to meet some of you, out and about. Touching on what Satoshi said about engagement in terms of from the UFC's perspective, I think VChain got this accolade of like the most engaged sponsor and also one of the most visible sponsors. So as in engagement with VChain posts and content, I think it's basically one of the highest engagement rates across all brands, which like, again just speaks to the power of the community here, like sharing and engaging and kind of creating that. And the UF is a tool for growth. Talking about from a metrics perspective, I mean, it's undeniably been so impactful. And I do see comments from time to time. People talk about, I guess, the value of the sponsorship, but it's such a hard thing to materially quantify. Kind of, this kind of ability to build networks, grow VChain's kind of brand awareness, bridging into other communities. I mean, last night we had a bunch of KOLs from across networks, and that stuff's kind of invaluable for brand perception. And I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's been super valuable for chain's kind of awareness in the Web3 space. As he said, rightly so, I think too much focus in one direction kind of maybe slipped us a little bit back in the discussion pool. But in terms of, again, social media engagement, from my perspective, seeing Twitter, Insta, all the numbers and whatnot, I mean, it's been phenomenal. And the last 3 to 6 months, the numbers just picking up speed constantly. So in terms of desired outcomes from that like pragmatic perspective of the sponsorship intent, it has been massively successful. But then on the personal level, I mean, it's just been phenomenal as well. Like seeing people come together, build real connections. You see the media coming out on social, and it's amazing to see. I mean, that human element is part of Web3, and it's amazing to see the VPN community kind of thrive and grow through that. And I know next year, bigger plans. Obviously, there's always bigger plans for next year, but we want to make sure we're mapping out the community properly so that we give everyone a chance as well to get there. VFam, get them to events, and that's something we're kind of just putting together at the moment. Just make sure we've got everyone nice and visible, so everyone's getting that opportunity to experience it as well, and kind of put their stake in the ground there. So yeah, I think phenomenal opportunity for VChain and for growth moving forward. And I can't wait to be at the next event. I mean, London was insane. It was so good. I had such a blast.
Yeah, no, I am so excited for the next events. And I love that you all are mapping it out to give some more people opportunities. Just because, again, I think everybody's like, hey, it's the first waves, the first waves. And I think you've had hundreds of people starting to get these opportunities that, have been pushing VFAM forward, which is really exciting. So, I'm really happy to hear you guys are only looking to continue leaning into this, give more people opportunities, and grow this channel of engagement. Exo Worlds, obviously, you all have had the opportunity to go to an event as well. Is there anything that you would add on to here about experience?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I've been to Vegas twice now for UFC events. It was really awesome. I do think that, especially with more and more people going, the networking that we do is super important. Even if it's just networking people within even our community, there's a lot of like exponential additions that would not otherwise be there with parties that are in the ecosystem but don't get to talk to each other. So I think it's really great, super important. The IRL events are really great for the community.
Well, Sig, any last things that you want to wrap up here with this section? And EXO, I appreciate you guys sharing your perspective as well. It sounds like everybody has the same sentiment. Once you go to these, you see something there that just kind of clicks, that makes you get it. Sig, obviously, we're going to dive much more into this on your space, but I appreciate you kind of giving the group here the preview that, maybe wasn't aware was going on. But anything else that you want to tease with before we get ready to hand things off to Ferg?
Yeah, again, I would just reiterate, like, sharing it out to whoever you think would get value or even bring value to the space. Evan from Rare Evo DM'd me just now and gave me some recommendations on people to invite to the space who have gone to these events and or would like to go. So I'm reaching out to them now and sharing the space with them to see if they'd be available to come on and chat. And again, I mean, like, if you have connection or even just friends that you think would be interested in hearing about this or having the opportunity to go, make sure that they tune in. Let them know that it's going on. Have them set the reminders. It's going to be a fun space, and you might win some tickets. You might win some merch, and there's going to be some announcements made. So that's all I got. Share it around. Tell your friends. Tell influencers. Tell people on other blockchains. Let's get it. Let's get it popping.
December 27th, everyone, 1 p.m. Central Time. Mark those calendars. Join us for a fun discussion. Well, Ferg, let's continue the convo here, man. Let's dive into some things with some of the tech updates that Vechain launched here in December.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and pin this post up here if anyone wants to kind of follow along. And I would also encourage people, if you have questions about this medium cool or different things, go ahead and request. This is going to be a good time to have a little Q&A kind of session. So go ahead and request if you have any questions, and we'll go ahead and kick it off with Jake on this first question that I have. So it looks like we're going to get the Discover tab very soon here in VWorld, and that's very exciting. I know that's been kind of on the map here, and it looks like it's going to happen very soon. So I kind of want to start off with that Discover tab.
Yeah, so actually on Android, it should already be live. So if you have VWorld on Android, you should be able to update it and get it now. So, Discover away, it's there waiting for you. I know iOS, there's just a little bit of back and forth, classic Apple, a little bit finicky, but that should be imminent as well. I saw it go through to test flight like on Friday, so should be hopefully start next week. That'll all be live. But yeah, obviously then at that point, the VWorld wallet's kind of reached that feature parity. So, that kind of lends into why VeChain 4 is being kind of deprecated now. It's VWorld is obviously designed for the new wallet infrastructure for what we've got planned this year and beyond. So yeah, RIP VeChain Thor has been a great workhorse. But yeah, time to let it to rest. But yeah, the Discover tab obviously makes life nice and easy for all kind of project owners. And if you're looking for dApps, you're looking for the rewards tabs, the next node holder. It's all there, nice and easy. Instant connect through Wallet Connect and connects and all that good stuff. So yeah, nice seamless dApp experience coming to VWorld imminently.
Yeah, and one of the things that caught my eye that I thought was cool was the dApp kit. So just reading off of the Medium article, it says, requiring just a few short lines of code, projects can enjoy a greatly simplified VWorld integration process, allowing them to make use of our powerful new wallet infrastructure. That sounds really cool. So can you go into a little bit more depth with that? Like, it's going to be very easy to get your dApp on the Discover tab?
Yeah, well, that bit of text specifically is relating to integrating VWorld, like the login functions to your application. So before now, it was a little bit more long-winded, but we basically just launched these 2 lines of code that you can just integrate, and boom, done, nice and easy. So it just takes the hassle out of integrating VWorld into dApps for people. So obviously there's a lot of dApps at the moment that haven't integrated VWorld because obviously it's a new wallet and these things take a little bit of time. So that's kind of been built just to make life easy for folks. But the dApp kit itself, again, is part of this consistent effort to push, make VeChain super accessible, super easy to build on, and yeah, that's part of a broader effort for what we've got coming next year again. ... But we're intending to have a lot more projects be built on VeChain, and of course, with that, naturally, you want it to be as easy as possible. Of course, that's the rationale of Forge. That's the rationale of a lot of the tools we built over the years for enterprises. It's like lowering barriers to entry. So this dApp kit, there's a new SDK coming. So again, just like streamlining, simplifying, making things a lot more kind of robust. I think another thing, probably a byproduct of what Mikey was talking about, focusing on the enterprise stuff, not the dev side didn't necessarily get the love it deserved for a while. Now, obviously, that's being rectified. We've opened the tech center in Ireland and going ham on building tools now. Tons of engineers being hired to build out the infrastructure too. But yeah, I've lost my point. But yeah,
No, that's great. You kind of led me into the next thing. And with Sonny being on these last couple of spaces, he's, taking these questions head on and really addressed them about, being a little bit more dev friendly and making it to where people want to come here and build. And that's another thing in this Medium article is you guys, there's, some quality of life updates, and then you're adding support for the ERC 5660 and ERC 721. And that's going to make it a little bit easier for developers to kind of bridge the physical and digital assets, making a powerful digital solution.
Oh
That
yeah,
is
marketplace
awesome.
as a service. Sorry to
Yes.
jump in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
could be badass. That is such a cool update. Okay, I'm pretty pumped about that one. So obviously, yeah, you guys have seen the digital side of things. Building this platform where basically anyone can kind of spin up a marketplace, skin it as they need, and integrate digitals with that. So there's a proof of concept going on at the moment with a a certain company basically to like demo it and just do that like, you know, POC before it goes live. But yeah, it's really cool, man. Like the digital aspect is one of Vechain's big unique selling points. And it's such powerful technology, right? We talked before about digital product passports, all that stuff. Like everything's going to have this digital identity that's going to be attached to NFTs, and then you get that immutability, traceability, transparency, blah, 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 all the good stuff. Yeah, and this is a big step towards making that available for both businesses, but also hobbyists, devs, like whoever might want the technology. So the first proof of concept is being done with the business, but you know, once it's proven at the business level as a viable tool, then you know it's good for everyone, kind of thing. So yeah, that's really cool. They're working on a bunch of cool stuff as well. I forget the ERC standard, but there's token bound accounts. That was it. So this is about giving NFTs the ability to have wallets themselves. So some, you know, wizardry going on here with smart contract wallets, account extraction. Some of you may be aware of that, what Ethereum is doing at the moment, like smart contract based wallets. But on top of that, you can have NFTs then able to have their own wallet, which kind of creates this interesting new kind of use case potential for all kinds of projects again around NFTs themselves kind of having wallets, which it sounds kind of comical. I think it's really cool. You can imagine there's a lot more.
It is really well. Here it says it's coming in the coming weeks. So like, could we be expecting this on testnet soon?
Yeah, hold on. Let's dive into this. Like
that.
anything you can give us, Jake. Just curious. Like I want to narrow down into this point. This is super interesting.
As in which part specifically? Sorry, the time-wise.
This timeline.
Yeah, you said your token bound accounts, and then on the Medium article it says in the coming weeks for testnet and mainnet. So I mean, this could be happening very soon, right?
Yeah, I mean, everything we've written in the article is basically, imminent. It's all the stuff that's been worked on over the last 2 months to be in a almost ready state. So marketplace as a service was the big one that's been worked on for an extended period, because naturally it's like a whole new piece of infrastructure. It's pretty heavy lifting. But a lot of this other stuff is essentially adapting, standards that exist through the Open Zeppelin kind of library and just bringing them into Vechain. So then it has, we're opening up with these like commonly used tools in the wider crypto space, but adding a lot of new functionality to the Vechain ecosystem. So yeah, the token bound accounts are very, very cool, very interesting. I'm curious to see what people do with it. I mean, I think there's a lot of scope for, especially GameFi and metaverse kind of use cases. I'm sure there's a ton of stuff the creative genius of VFan can think of.
Yeah, I want to kind of dig here, Jake. This is really interesting. I just to be 100% transparency. You guys know me. I'll just tell you what I know and what I don't know. What can we expect? What will this bring? Like if you said your NFT can have a wallet of its own. So it seems like we're just it's almost like Inception. Like we're in a dream inside of a dream here. So like, can you expand on that just a little bit?
That's exactly how I feel right now.
You're like, my man's blown. Yeah, I mean, it could go multiple ways, right? You could have a product that can maybe have its own crypto elements attached, whatever that would look like in the future. Or obviously, you could have people's projects on chain being able to, I don't know, you're adding a new layer on. Then you could send an NFT some crypto. So you're sending like airdrops directly to an NFT, for example, or they can generate their own kind of stake into that NFT itself. So therefore, you're able to give that more material value because it has an X amount of tokens like attached to it. It creates new kind of gamification layers, and it is very interesting. I mean, that's why I kind of quipped, in the article about your NFT having its own wallet, because it was like that never occurred to me actually before, if I'm honest. When the tech team mentioned it, I was like, "That's cool." I never
Yeah,
thought
me neither. That's what I'm saying. That's so cool. Yeah, that's really cool. And I'm glad that Extra World has your hand up. I was actually going to kind of poke into this a little bit more. So, Jake, does this mean that, like, let's say Exo Worlds, someone holds their own Exo and they have their own wallet within their, in their own planet, and they throw some Exo token in there and some VeChain in there, whatever else into that wallet. When you move that NFT around, does it follow with that NFT? Does that wallet stay attached and everything within that wallet NFT also moves along with the NFT?
Yeah, so essentially the NFT contains a wallet, and the contents of that wallet are, one and the same with the NFT. So where it goes, they go, kind of thing. So you then add this kind of collateral layer, I guess, which you can create all kinds of gamification mechanisms out of. But I should drill deeper into what their provision is for the kind of real world stuff as well, because I'm intrigued how you could potentially add that to products. Obviously, doing digital product passports, maybe you can directly reward someone who purchased a product, that was, I don't know, token gated for some kind of sustainability mission, let's say, rewarding someone directly at the product level for their kind of purchase. These kind of gamification incentive mechanisms become possible with that. So it's definitely a broad arena, and I think kind of a brave new world in that sense. Like there's a lot that can be done with this, and I'm curious to see where it goes myself.
Yeah, it's really cool. I want to go over to Exo Worlds here with their hand up. Exo, what are you thinking?
Whoa, I feel like I just got a double espresso and a ginger shot all in once. I am pumped. This is huge. I do remember flirting with this concept a while back. I think they're with Vim World. There was some chatter about this possibility like a ways back. I remember thinking about this concept, and it's huge. I mean, NFTs having a wallet, it is just the next level of maturity for that asset class. And you don't even have to have, like, let's say you wanted to do like an Extra Worlds, you want to get an alliance and you want to have a mutual fund or whatever. You'd have to build a separate smart contract clause to deal with voting and a pool of resources. Now you could basically just do that with the planet. If you have an NFT contract that has some kind of voting or whatever, it operates directly on the NFT. You don't have to have a separate, economic layer to deal with that. And it also means the NFTs are like their own institutions. They're not just JPEGs or characters or game files. They're their own, like they're their own trust, like a financial trust, and you can do all sorts with that. I'm like super pumped what this means for Exoworlds and Planet Barons and all the other projects out here. This is huge, and we could talk 3 hours for it and only begin to scrape the surface of what this could do to the maturity of Web3 gaming, NFTs, and other NFTs, even ENFTs like certificates. Imagine now if certificates come with a like an insurance policy, like, hey, this certificate is good and there's an X amount in this NFT certificate. If this NFT turns out to be bad, or the certificate is bad, or the fish that came from Norway is actually, it melted a long time ago, that NFT holds a kind of insurance policy there, that doesn't need to be in an infrastructure or a layer outside of the NFT itself. So it's huge across all of the different industries, and that's what I'll say. Huge update. Congrats, guys. This is major.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. It's kind of an insurance policy. It's a lot you can do with this. That's why I'm asking so many questions. This is so cool. I want to get to more questions. Thank you, Exo World. That was great insight. Rare Evo, and then we'll go to Johnny.
Yeah, this is absolutely amazing. Like my head started spinning as you were explaining this, and we're doing some NFT ticketing this year where our partners normally drop things, like whether that be like gaming tokens or, for instance, Book.io dropped a book to our VIP guests. It would be really cool to play with this for next year's VIP ticketing for our event, and then working with Vechain partners in the fact that they could then, reach with their marketing directly to our ticket holders by putting things in their NFT ticket wallet. I think that would be just absolutely amazing. And I think it's a good real world use case of NFT ticketing use, and then being able to then use that wallet and partners dropping things to those that hold the tickets.
That would be cool.
It's so cool, and I can't wait to see how you guys collab with the Vechain Foundation on that. That sounds awesome. You have anything, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, I just my mind started running now. You got me thinking about it. I was imagining, well, if you had a digital ticket with the NFT obviously on the NFC chip, and then the NFT of the ticket itself is its own wallet, and then you've got account abstraction, so kind of got this security layer again. Like if you were to lose the wallet, you can do social recovery and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's making the tech so much more user friendly, right, for the average human. I guess that's the point of it all. But yeah, it's cool to see, man. Like the space is maturing so fast. I'm very excited to be part of it with y'all. 2024 is going to be
You
rad.
just took it to another dimension, Jake. Now, I wasn't even thinking about the NFC physical attached to it. Like, oh my God, I'm so excited now. This is amazing.
My mind can't handle this early on a Sunday morning. Oh my gosh, whiteboard is just full of notes. I know we got Johnny and Data though.
Yeah. Go ahead,
So
Johnny.
look, you guys, I've been around for a couple of years. I'm just a dumb pleb. And originally, when I got into the Vechain, I got in because it was talking about being a certification for real world products, authentication to make sure that they are original products. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I saw someone say that recently as well. Like, oh, the supply chain stuff doesn't get mentioned so much anymore. Is that still a thing? It's 100% a thing. Like all these use cases under VeChain's belt, still very much, valid use cases that are being kind of built out with various kind of partners, and definitely tokenization of real world assets. I think that's one of the biggest kind of directions at the moment for Web3 anyway, right? You had supply chain, which was kind of the low hanging fruit, as Sonny puts it, because it was just so ready to welcome that unification of like all these disparate data pools through blockchain. And then, yeah, real world asset tokenization, I think that's going to be one of the next, alongside sustainability, right? Because again, that's absolutely calling out for this trust mechanism, which is, why Vechain's obviously focusing a lot on that at the moment. That's a huge market waiting to be disrupted. But real world asset tokenization, definitely another massive market. And that kind of fits into the physical work that Vechain is doing and developing. It's the ability to give a physical product essentially a digital twin through NFTs. So yeah, 100% still a focus, and that's this marketplace as a service thing we're talking about. That kind of feeds into that. I'm not sure you're going to be putting electrical pylons on that marketplace, but that even to that level of real world asset tokenization, that is where it will go. And working with people like DNV, BCG, etc., like that's their focus, and that's definitely something they're building towards. So yeah, watch the space on that. I do remember a while ago there was a company we were talking with that was basically talking about exactly that. They wanted to tokenize some huge portion of their real world assets, was a lot of infrastructure, utility level stuff, and it's like literally electrical infrastructure, transformers, power grids, like all the stuff that's connected to physical infrastructure being tokenized, which is again really cool. Like this, blockchain is gonna rule the world in the next decade. I mean, it's kind of happening around us, and it's like 1% of the population feels like realizes there's a revolution happening under their feet, and everyone else is just kind of like. So yeah, really cool. But yeah, long story short, yes.
Thank you.
Great question, Johnny. Stick up here if you have any more questions in the future. Appreciate your question. And we'll move over here to data.
It's data, by the way. But
I was waiting for that. Heat him up.
Anyways, I was just going to add on the account abstraction aspect of it. A big thing I think that could benefit for VeChain specifically is the security aspect of it. If you think of, any smart contract can essentially be a wallet, then you're allowing and you're abstracting the ownership out of that. Then you can have things like signing from different wallets, or you can put limits on spending. So if you're worried about getting hacked or something, maybe you need 2 wallets to sign off on it. So or you can put like a spending limit. If there's something you never want to ever sell, you can set requirements where you never sell that. If anybody hacks your wallet, they can never get it. All kinds of things, because especially with people who have X nodes or other nodes, mule nodes that don't ever want to touch that wallet, they leave it in cold and don't touch anything, they would be able to have like connected to. So they would have ways that they could improve security on their wallet, but then still use it indirectly, abstracting through. So there's just a lot of additional security measures that can come from it.
Yeah, I feel like we almost need you to give everyone an explainer, because I mean, account abstraction was still relatively new to me recently. But like you say, it's a game changer for security, for account recovery. It's just adding a lot of power to your custody options and the versatility of how you manage assets in the wallet. I think it's super fascinating.
Thank God I was muted, because while Data was talking, I was just yelling "wow" while I was writing on my whiteboard. This is so cool. I did not even think about the security use case. That can be applied to so much, man. You've got my brain in way too fast right now. I love that for the nodes, for big NFTs that you don't want to sell. Wow, yeah, this is just incredible. I'm so excited to see when this launches, Jake.
Yeah, not too long. And obviously, when you're talking about then businesses, again, the real world assets thing or whatever, they're holding these kind of assets in a wallet. If you can code in at the contract level, like this cannot move, that's obviously a huge boost for their confidence in using the technology, right? Because if you've got this wallet, but there's a minute chance it could be compromised. I mean, for an enterprise, that's a scary thing. That's why kind of to date, VeChain's done a lot of this abstraction stuff, like fee delegation. Enterprises don't want to handle assets. They don't necessarily get it. They don't, feel comfortable managing these, these assets in that way. And it just adds a new kind of layer of security for them. And especially as Mika is literally in the corner. I mean, that's going to be a huge boost for blockchain adoption in Europe specifically. That account abstraction is going to be such an important security feature.
Yeah, This is really cool. My mind is kind of blown too, Connor. I mean, this is awesome. When I read it, I was thinking, I wonder kind of, what that is. And then we're getting into the deep dive of it. There's already been a couple of great use cases brought up. There's a lot going on. Speaking of the nodes, I mean, the nodes are. We'll get to the nodes here in a second. I know we got hands up, but there's so much in this Medium article that's so short. It's crazy how you guys packed in so much information into such a small Medium article. But we had Exo Worlds, and then we'll go to Chad.
Awesome. I have a quick question and then a comment. Jake, are the NFTs, would they be able to hold multiple wallets or just one single wallet per NFT?
That is a good question, and I don't actually know. So I think Neil, Neil, right? Neil Brett. He'd be a good guy to ask, or any of the tech guys. I mean, if anyone's got tech questions and they're on Discord, we've got 8 foundation devs in there right now. They're always happy to chat and answer questions, or if you've got issues, that kind of stuff. So just an FYI, if you do have heavier tech questions, feel free to hit them up. They'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So yeah, sorry, I can't answer that one, but I know you can have at least one.
No, that's perfect. And I'll definitely enter in there because immediately I'm thinking and this is huge for all of us NFT projects. We all love burning, right? And it would be so interesting if we had if every NFT had, we can't have multiple wallets. Imagine burn wallet, which with every NFT, once you put in, tokens in there, nothing happens. Nothing can ever happen with it. Now you have an actual metric of how much each NFT has burned. Mad V8, you have a fusion ape, and you can look in how much has this ape burned. Whoa, this is a real player in the burning game for Mad V8s. Because right now, all we have for burning is the total amount burned. But when you can assign that to NFTs and they can kind of climb up the ladder with burning, and it shows in that burn wallet in that NFT, that's huge. So, anyways.
Yeah, and you can almost give them a history, right? Then at that point, NFT can almost start to take on a unique entity. So even if you had, I guess, identical NFTs, they still gain this unique metadata history that may still make them more valuable than another based on their interactions and kind of accrued lifetime, activities. So yeah, it definitely opens a lot of doors for new mechanisms.
This is what is so great about this space, Connor and Sig. Isn't this the coolest part? Just how much excitement, how many different use cases have already been brought up. We just mentioned one thing, and then there's people coming up. Oh, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this, we can do that. This is so cool. And
dude, again, I'm like a little dog running around my freaking room doing zoomies right now. I mean, like you said, we just jumped from rare Evo real world ticketing use case that we can probably say will start to kickstart motion to Data just being a wizard as usual and dropping, extra bombs on security. Like, this is awesome.
This is so cool. And Chud, I know you're gonna add to the convo, my brother. What's up?
Hey guys, I just think people aren't even thinking about how this can affect gaming and character developments, and if you're actually developing a character with unique attributes where it's oh, they got this chest piece, this helmet, this weapon that you now add to the NFT, and now you're actually making customizable characters that can be imported into games that you can use and sell. So you can have a level 70 character that you can sell with all this gear, and it's actually a unique package of those characters. So you just opened up the door for a lot of things to happen for gaming in general, which is something that I was always curious about, how these gaming companies were going to do it. How are they going to make a sword, a special sword, a unique sword actually connect to that NFT? And if it's packaged inside an NFT itself, well, that's the solution right there. So that's going to be massive for all gaming in general. So start marketing that to people, because there's gaming companies that have left us. So, for real. So we're down to a very few. So it's a mistake that they left, but now there's a door open that we can maybe convince more to come back.
Well, it'll allow for people to create profiles within their one wallet. So say you have one wallet on Exo that holds your planets, for instance. Well, then create multiple profiles within that one wallet that holds all those planets. You still get the benefit of holding the planets within that one wallet without having to parse them out to multiple wallets. But you can create multiple profiles within that one account. And then those multiple profiles within those accounts can have different attributes or parts or NFTs connected within them. So then, since it's still based on a normal NFT standard, most likely that can transfer and sell, whatever, there'll be a standard with it. You would then be able to sell that whole profile, keep another profile within your same account, and it partitions away that level of dissection that would be required. And you would also be able to say, like, you could hold that within an account abstracted wallet, which is separate, so that you could be like, never sell this one, always like, I'm going to sell this one, but never let this one sell, so that you can't lose it. If you lose the seed to your wallet, then you could recover it through another account or whatever. All kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the possibilities are endless on this. This is so cool. If anyone else down there has something to add, please request. But what you guys were talking about there just kind of made me think about it. Like, moving forward, it wouldn't just have to be that, like, oh, I happen to mint, on a gaming NFT, I happen to mint rank number 5. This guy's going to be a badass. Now we can really kind of throw those ranks out the windows, and you can customize your guy within that same wallet attached to that NFT. And you can customize your own gaming character the way you want him to perform in the game. And it kind of simplifies everything, right? I mean, that's kind of what I was taking from Chud and Data there, or Data, Jesus, whatever. Is like it kind of takes that part away of, damn, I only minted, rank 3,000 or something. Now you can just go attach everything to that NFT within that wallet. And that really makes the customization just so cool and endless.
Yeah, this is just awesome. And I think this could be a whole thing that we continue to dive into. And honestly, it sounds like we might get to dive a little bit deeper once these, launches happen, because I mean, there was it being said a few weeks away. So, Ferg, do we want to go maybe a little further into this, final questions here, and then maybe this is also an agenda item on the next space, just because I my brain is moving so fast, and I'm sure everyone in the listeners is as well. It's time to start taking some action on this idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we definitely go ahead and put this on the agenda for next month. We'll retouch on this, and I would encourage everyone up here on the speaker panel and in the listeners to start different ideas and different use cases, because I think it's really endless. But earlier I think Data did bring up the nodes and things like that. That's another thing in here, Jake, that I wanted to talk to you about and make aware if people didn't actually get in there and read that Medium article, or if you haven't perused around the VWorld wallet. You can now bid, auction, sell, and transfer nodes very easily and seamlessly on the VWorld wallet. So, Jake, that's pretty exciting. That's pretty cool. What's the word on that?
Yeah, so just basically they've launched a whole new kind of node piece. And actually, since the article, the marketplace has gone live as well. So within that article, it was talking about Dutch auctions and direct transfer. So you could send a node to another address, or you could basically pitch someone specifically with a bid for their node, like a one-on-one targeted thing. But now the marketplace has gone live as well. So you can kind of bid, sell, view, people just list them and kind of leave them. So that was in the Vechain for wallet, but again, the UI wasn't necessarily the best on that. It was a little kind of hidden, I think. So yeah, just again, rebuilding the infrastructure to make it a lot more seamless, crisp, and agile, but also iterative. Like, that's a big key part of what's being done moving forward. It's like, it was harder to add features to VChain Thor, but VWorld's been built as this kind of infrastructure layer where features can just be integrated a lot more quickly, a lot more easily. We recently just did a pitch to the community. We asked people basically, what do you want in 2024? Like, I think there's 30 major roadmap items. Kind of, just gauging what people want most. But yeah, again, it's infrastructure built to be agile. So the node marketplace is again part of that. The rewards market, the rewards kind of platform. So again, just making the infrastructure nice and easy, and that may have future plans. I don't know. ... Watch this space. But yeah, again, about feeding into the future plans and just making life easy. I mean, that's what Web3 needs, right? Web3's always been a bit tricky.
Dude, that's what I was just going to say. You took the words right out of my mouth. What you guys have been doing is basically making it where it's very simple to get involved. I mean, some of these wallets that you get on with different blockchains, some of them are easy. I'm not saying the only easy one. There are some wallets that do a very good job at making it very simple for people. But some of them are very complicated. You got to click around a million times. You have no idea what you're looking at. You're moving around doing this, doing that. You guys are doing a phenomenal job of just making it very simple, very easy to onboard. Get in here, click this button, boom, it's right there. That goes back to Vorge if you want to build. That goes back to the VWorld wallet where you guys are adding all these really simple integrations. That seems to be I'm not in these meetings. I think you're probably in these meetings or getting briefed on these meetings either way. I mean, that's kind of the goal, right? Is that you guys are really making it look everything, they're making everything like simple. Just get on here. We're going to make it simple. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, the enterprise stuff we did so far, that was the rationale, right? It's like, okay, you want to build, you want to spin up a solution. Uh, we're going to make it as easy as possible for you. All the kind of features that were built in at the protocol level, that made it easy for enterprises to do that. And now it's kind of replicating that and making that accessible for the masses, because obviously Web3 is a social movement as well as a kind of business thing. So yeah, that's definitely the rationale, and that's pretty much why the tech center was opened in Ireland. We've got this mandate to hiring 100 devs over the 3 years, and we've got a good chunk in now, a lot of talented people, and that's done to really bolster the developer ecosystem, because that's super important, especially as we go into this age of adoption. You're going to start seeing a lot more legacy Web2 players moving into the space, and they just want easy, streamlined, simplicity, nice UI, all that stuff that everyone's used to, right? In the traditional world, like you go onto a website, you don't want to have to build a website. You just want to turn up, create an account, here's some features, do your thing, and that's definitely the rationale of how VTN is building.
Absolutely. And before we kind of close out this, and I want to get to Stig and Connor here, or anyone else, if you have a question, raise your hand. But I did just want to reiterate what Jake said earlier. The VeChain Thor wallet will still be able to like hold your VeChain and the simple things like that. They're just kind of discontinuing any work on that. And also, I would encourage everyone to import your wallet into the V World wallet. It's very simple. You input your seed phrase, you're good to go. So I just wanted to double down on that. We kind of like bypassed over that pretty quickly. But anyone in here that, maybe you only get on Twitter once every couple of weeks or so and you haven't seen it, December 31st, the VeChain Thor wallet is kind of, it's a relic now, but you can import everything. You can import your entire wallet into the V World wallet. But we've mastered this Medium article. It's been awesome. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. Before we move on to the next topic, though, I want to touch on Sig and Connor and anyone else who maybe has some closing thoughts on this topic, and then we'll keep her moving.
I just want to give a shout out to the people busting it in the comments, working their butts off. Jordan Sauer and Wiz, I see you on there contributing to the discussion with you all have seen with NFTs that have their own wallets. And what other ecosystems have been doing. So those are great articles for those of you listening that are looking to dive a little bit deeper, maybe additional info. Just wanted to shout out those gentlemen, working, add some value to the conversation. Appreciate you all. We see you.
Sig, before we move on, do you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, I think we touched on a lot of the main points. Really exciting stuff. Excited to dive deeper next month on this and see what ideas people come up with as far as use cases go. I just love seeing all the new development and tools and resources coming out by the foundation. I mean, this is what we need to get more builders here and more people, leveraging their creativity and creating really cool stuff on chain. So hats off to you guys. I do got to jump here, though. Got to be a quick month for me, but you all and looking forward to next month. Let's keep the train rolling. Love you. Bye.
Sig, we'll see you, brother. Go enjoy.
And just to add a supplementary, obviously we're building all this stuff, and that's where the power of the UFC relationship comes in as well. It's like you get such massive visibility from it, and you get amazing networking opportunities. We've met so many great people, been able to get VeChain community obviously to the events, but also the wider Web3 communities. I think we had George, if you guys know him, Cryptos RS, he was at 296 last night, I think, and Paisan and King Apollo and a bunch of, obviously the Rare Evo team, Wes nursing a hangover, and these obviously create the visibility, and then you have these really powerful and unique tools that then allow that the next steps, right? They see VeChain, you get curious, you've got these amazing tools. It's like this logical progression. You can see how these things kind of come together now, like synergistically. So yeah, very, very cool.
We're painting a pretty beautiful picture, and I am excited for where we're going. I mean, obviously you could feel the excitement in that last discussion, seeing the foundations building things that this community wants. But also this community has a bunch of value that we can bring to you all. I mean, we've been talking about it on these last spaces of how we can build more vehicles to interact with one another, what we can do to improve this kind of give and take relationship as we grow this Web3 ecosystem. And I think one of the big things that is a core part of that is the Vechain Grant Program. And I know that on the last space, and we talked a lot about that. And we talked a lot about tokenomics. We talked a lot about some hard topics that are a little bit more difficult to talk about. And it was unbelievable to dive deeper into them with you, Jake, with Sunny Lou. But obviously now you have had a month to kind of reflect on things, to have some discussions after that. And I'd love to start with, what's the discussion been since that space? How's the foundation been, in terms of hearing this feedback? Has there been any actions that you can share? Would love to start there and kind of hear your thoughts.
Yeah, sure. So I can give a VeChain updates exclusive to everyone listening. Obviously, since we had the chat digital, we took that back internally, and I think it's kind of been a talking point for a while. But I guess that really brought to light, actually, a bit of an obstacle in terms of the grant program specifically. So yeah, we are going to be launching an updated grant program in January. It's going to be less kind of rigid. I think the program before kind of maybe suffered a bit from being too detail oriented. Sometimes there's these meta factors we kind of dub to them as, people's previous successes. We're basically making the grant program broader. There'll be more money in total available, and just a bit less rigid. The user journey will be more simplified. So I think we're planning to do basically a kind of type form where you can essentially submit as this initial touch point, which then the team can kind of have a review and then a follow-up call. And then, naturally these things need to go on GitHub anyway. But I think Sean, the guy from last space, his gripe was, GitHub's too much of a technical starting point. It's quite a kind of burden, I guess, for people. And then, obviously evaluating other grant programs around the space. I mean, yeah, they're not doing that, and therefore we're probably missing a trick a little bit by having that kind of burden, of technicality. So we are going to be launching a new program. It's going to be more streamlined. There'll be more money available in total. It obviously doesn't mean everyone gets maximum amount. There's going to be an expectation of pitching, ideas with justifications and whatnot. But there'll be up to 100K now. So we're expanding that from 30K to 100K. But like I say, depending on various factors. But the rationale here is we want to be supportive. If you're a business and you want to come on board, I mean, the grant program actually offers a great way to introduce blockchain to companies as well. Because, for instance, I've been on a few calls recently with some companies, and they love what we've got going on, and I've got some follow-up calls coming, and it's like, well, rather than you have to invest, you could take up our grant program. So we're kind of revising that to provide funding as well for these companies that may want to actually get involved. It's like it gives them an easier pathway as well. So yeah, feedback was heard, action is coming. I think we'll be relaunching the program in January.
Okay, that is awesome. Talk about a foundation listening to your community. It has been barely a month, and you all looked at the grant program, and sure, yeah, it's been in the works, but I like to think that space kicked it into gear. I mean, Digital, speaking from his experience, was incredible. And I'm so happy to hear that you all have been chatting with him. You upped it from 30K to 100K. This is all really exciting. But I love the angle of the enterprise adoption. Hey, you're going to explore VeChain. This is an investment, but we can give you a vehicle to get some resources to start that journey. Is there any kind of enterprises that have started to kickstart that interest? I mean, you mentioned some of these calls here. Anything that you can give us in terms of some sneak peeks?
Yeah, I mean, this is a kind of, I guess, a new direction in terms of our thinking as well, right? Recognizing the grant program as more of a vehicle as well. But I mean, I was in touch with, I don't know how much I can give really. It's nothing
Oh, I'm going
super
to just
small,
see how much we can get. So I'm going to ask.
but basically, it's a company. They're doing a lot of stuff that involves supply chains, transparency, but also sustainability and public engagement. And there's just a lot of layers to it. And we got on this call, and it was like, okay, well, you're doing all this, but how are you proving that you're not greenwashing? How are you demonstrating actions to your end users, to the purchasers of your products, all this stuff? And they're like, damn, yeah, you got us down. Like, oh, we're implementing X and Y, and yeah, it's just a funny discussion because it is such a light bulb thing. And when you get down to that one-on-one conversation and you push people and you're like, well, how are you proving this without having blockchain? They're like, damn, we actually basically can't. So I think it is logical progression when you look at how adoption is going to go, because a lot of these companies, they want to work in broader ecosystems, they want to collaborate with partners, but there's still this level of trust, and obviously blockchain's the trust machine. And yeah, that was a good anecdote for seeing the eyes kind of light up. So I had a call, went very well, had a follow-up call with our hire manager, and he was like, damn, okay, that's amazing. So then now after that, you obviously got the buy-in of the big boys. Now it's going to the top. So next call will be, with like director level, basically the guys that say yes or no. But yeah, as a little anecdote, very cool to see that kind of people kind of starting to get blockchain now, right? When you speak to people, I don't know about you guys, but when you chat to people often, they talk about money and they don't see all this kind of trust and data management elements. But I think that's definitely, gathering pace. And this revamp grant program gives us a really good vehicle because, 100K for a business is actually more kind of what they're looking at. I mean, Sean made some good points. I mean, I guess our grant program is more geared for, let's say smaller scale projects in reality. So, based on what we've got coming next year, it was definitely a needed move, and there was no real resistance to it. It was like, yeah, we've got to do that like now. We got to get that rolling. So, whilst I can't give any names as an anecdote, reception to those calls and obviously the ability to have that money, it was actually a really big, like, well, yeah, why wouldn't we, kind of thing.
I mean, these are you're going on an educational journey for some of these new companies. That investment is usually going to be more than 30,000 if you're an enterprise. And so to see that you're, giving that increase to 100K allows more for them, but also these community members that are trying to launch these projects, full time, and giving them the resources to do that. So really excited on that, but it looks like we've got a hand here. Chud, anything that you got to add on here or any questions about this?
I got two questions. First one is, how large is the kitty? Is it like there's $1 million that's split 10 ways for 100,000? Is it 10 million? What's the size of the kitty for the grant program?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it was 1 million, but obviously if you have 10 grants at 100K, I'm actually, yeah, I should probably know that. I'm not actually sure of the kind of limit. I guess, it's going to be viewed on a case by case. There should be a cap. I'll need to get back to you on that, Chad, basically. Sorry, don't have that info to hand. I know it was 1 million per year, but I suspect it will go up. And obviously, we are going into a bull season. Vechain's treasury by the next bull run is going to be pretty monstrous. So, yeah, I think there also needs to be a number, but I don't think it's going to be. It will be done, logically. Like Vechain is obviously run professionally. It's got finance departments, all that kind of stuff. So there will have to be a number assigned, but I think Vechain can definitely be accommodating.
Awesome. Can't wait to find that out. Of course, it's going to be a dynamic amount of money because in order for, like, as things change and the value goes up of your foundation wallet, I'm sure you can change it as time goes on. So that's good to hear. Now, the second question is, is enterprise that are going to be filing for the grant going to also be put in the same pool as, like, let's say, like a data who's doing it not as a prize level? Are there going to be like a different pool between the two? Because I think enterprises kind of have a leg up on all these small developers and difference, So I was just curious, are they in the same pool?
Great question.
Yeah, no, it is a good one. I mean, it will be the same program, but I think, again, it's going to be on a kind of case by case. We talked about the meta factors, so people's prestige within the ecosystem. I mean, if you talk about data, he's got a legacy component that, is going to weigh into him being likely to get a grant, kind of thing. It's taking the rigidness out of the old program out. We're talking about enterprise using this grant program as a vehicle. I mean, that's more of an approach that's only just sprung up, I guess. That was a realization of how we could leverage the grant program with this relaunch as well. So it will be one funnel, but yeah, I wouldn't say, data going for a grant next to someone else is going to be looked any less favorably. He'll be considered in his own right based on his own merits and obviously the project and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah, I think I probably used too high of a figure. I guess I was thinking more along the lines of, like, let's say, I don't know, Joe Schmo that you don't even know, that comes in. Because, like, I know data is kind of, I used him and he's more of a prevalent figure. But what about, like, Joe Schmo that's sitting in sitting in his basement being like, oh my God, I got this great idea. I want to try and do this. And he's just doing it after work and no one really knows him. Like, is that going to be like competing with an enterprise essentially?
I mean, everyone's going to be judged on their own merits, right? So how they justify their needs, their kind of expenses, their kind of, the financial runway and all that stuff, it's going to be done case by case. I mean, the aim of this revamp is to get as many people as we can in, big or small. It's about inviting builders, making that easy. The projects that have merit, not just flinging money left and right. I know there's some blockchains that just throw cash and then you see their kind of end of year reports, and it's like a lot of these projects just went nowhere, and it's basically just money down the drain. So it will come down to the individual to justify spend, have a plan. I mean, it's not again going to be just throwing money at people, but if the plan and the justification and the integration and the kind of tools or platforms or whatever it might be they're looking to build are good and valid use cases, I think it's going to be an equal playing field in that regard. It's going to be taken on the merit of the application rather than, just because it's an enterprise doesn't mean they will get it if it's a trash application that doesn't really make any sense and they're just blatantly trying to get some money, if you know what I mean.
Right on. Last thing, real quick.
Keep them going, Chud. These are great.
I need to keep shopping. So just for people that might not know that maybe like, let's say an enterprise person is listening in, what do enterprises get for partnerships in general for working with Vechain? Do they get any funding regardless, even if they don't do the grant funds?
A lot of the enterprises to date, do you mean like we're talking legacy now, as in?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, let's say another Walmart comes to you guys and is like, we want to partner, right? Like, let's say Target for some reason comes out of nowhere. It's like, we saw what Walmart did, like get additional funding, or would they have to go through the grant program to get that funding?
Well, I mean, the Walmart case is kind of different. Like they are actually a paying customer. So in that case, they paid for VeChain services. So they get technical support, of course, but they don't get any money from VeChain. They're a customer buying a service. So in that sense, what do they get? They get a boost to their capabilities that they need and want. And, obviously VeChain toolchain earns that revenue as a service provider. Moving forward, if it's like an experimental integration where you're trying to nudge someone, say, that's where the grant program could become a useful cudgel, to to use a blunt term, but to like bash someone into action. They're on the fence, they've seen it, they're curious. You kind of want to prompt them and give them that little extra nudge. Then, if you're able to provide a bit of financial support, and then they've got this little fund that they can then do the integration with, then in that case it would be beneficial. But when you're talking Walmart level, I mean, they either do or don't. Like they're not necessarily gonna, they wanted blockchain, they went in on the blockchain, they bought a whole kind of service package. So yeah, it's a hard one. I mean, it totally depends on scale, needs, desires. I mean, it's a very nuanced thing to try and justify, I guess. It really depends on the case and what their needs are and how deep they want to go, because I mean, again, a lot of people are still just dipping their toes right now. So a little nudge to test, is possibly what a lot of companies need right now. Just a little insight, like, oh, it does add value. There is benefits. All right, I'm going it. That kind of approach. But some companies, I mean, Walmart's, I mean, they're quite pioneering in a way. I know Walmart's not necessarily got the best brand image in certain parts of the world, but I mean, kudos to them. I mean, they embraced technology a long time before a lot of their competitors. So they're definitely pioneering, or at least they love efficiency, I guess.
Hey, right on. I do have to go back to doing some shopping, but I was just trying to peg some questions that could be what people are countering with what's going on or might complain. So you're answering some good questions because I could see people being like, oh my God, they're just going to give the grant funds to enterprises now and then use that as a way to kind of feed that and not give it to the little guys. So I'm trying to kind of hopefully feed some of those fears right now with these questions. So
No, it's good. It's good.
so
I value
thank
it. I
you.
value it.
So thank you for answering them. I do have to go. I'm going to go on the listener, but appreciate your time and thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chud. I'll take a box of Cliff Bars while you're out there, if you can. So
I
thank
need
you
some
for that,
chocolate.
and I will just Venmo you, or I'll send you some VeChain. Anyway, we've got a question here on this topic that I want to bring up that just came in. Kiwi.vet just asked, Jake, is there any word on the grant improvement retrospective funding? Example, a product has already been built and launched for VeChain with no funding prior to building it. Is there anything that you can add to, answer that?
Honestly, I don't have any like official position to take on that. I hadn't necessarily considered that. Kiwi's saying, is this in relation to VNS by any chance?
It probably is, but I'm assuming for any projects that might have this question as well. Is there anything that they can be doing with this new information you're sharing on the space?
I mean, I would say apply for the grant program. Sorry, talk to the team. There's nothing official, like as in a retroactive funding. That's not really something that's been on my radar, but I wouldn't rule it out if it's a valuable kind of tool for the ecosystem. I think it's about having that discussion, and when the grant program obviously rolls out, put your tool in there and apply, and we can have a discussion, because that will be a lot more intimate. Let's say the grant program, the revamped one, because once you apply, there'll be internal review, and it also, just to add, it'll be a lot quicker, because I'm sure anyone who's dealt with the grant program previously be aware it was a little bit slow. So aiming to do 2-week turnarounds, 1 to 2 weeks. But yeah, I would say have a chat with the team. I mean, I know Kiwi is talks to the team already. Ben, I think he works with Ben, and I know there's an active grant application open with VNS right now. So, and I know those discussions are ongoing. So I think in that specific example, it's likely, I'm going to say, that we'll get a grant, so there will hopefully be some reimbursal in the way you're talking. But yeah, as in terms of an official answer, I don't really have an answer. Sorry, that was a kind of a roundabout answer. But I think in
No
that
worries.
specific case, I think VNS is likely to be able to extract some funding.
Well, there you go, Kiwi. I hope that answered your question down there in the comments. And no worries, Jake. I know this is the new, 1 month update since all of this. I'm honestly crazy impressed that you guys have already made this much progress. Shows you guys took action really quickly after hearing some of the community's, questions and concerns. And so I kind of want. Oh no, jump in. Yeah, I guess anything that you can share about Sonny, and what he was saying on it.
As in, I straight away he was like, right, this needs to change now. And so he heard you guys, and he's always listening. I mean, he's always on Twitter, and he sees people's comments, good and bad, and he does listen. He's very proactive. I know maybe, I don't know if that's the perception, but internally very conscious of how people feel, and always trying to make sure he's doing the best thing for people. So yeah, he definitely took that on board. The last kind of the comments with the grant.
Really like to hear that, because obviously, like I said, it's a tougher discussion, but I think these concerns were absolutely valid, because the community, they care and they want to see everybody succeed, and everybody kind of hit these goals that we have in front of us. And I guess another part of that is not just that grant program part of that last space, but really one of the big reasons it was brought up was through the tokenomics discussion. And some of the updates you all are planning potentially with VTHO, when it comes to leaning into more partnerships to increase transaction volume, leaning into ideas with potentially making adjustments in the future, to sharing some updates on this potential February, March kind of ecosystem update. Is there anything that you can share with us about what you all have talked about since the last space when it comes to tokenomics? Because like I said, I know there's a lot going on with it.
Yeah, I definitely got to be pretty tight-lipped with that one for obvious reasons. Sonny, he's the big dog. He can say what he likes. I'm kind of bound by what he's willing to go, and say publicly. But yeah, very cool. A lot of new functionality coming. New kind of tokenomic system. There's going to be a lot more way for people to be engaged proactively, but also benefit from that engagement. So, certain new mechanisms coming in. Vechain doesn't currently have, kind of governance related stuff. But yeah, really spawning a new kind of ecosystem in kind of collaboration with BCG. I mean, obviously, when we did this white paper with BCG, I saw a lot of questions like, oh, you've paid for BCG to write a white paper. It's not a real partnership. Well, hopefully from February onwards, you'll realize why that wasn't true, because they are really going in on, this approach, let's say. I'm tapping around the edge of it, but, they're going to be very kind of proactively involved, and also, doing a lot of pitching to their client networks about this new direction. You kind of heard Sunny talk before about having tokens in play, so that's a big part of this new kind of direction, which again is kind of facilitated by Miko. We've got this unfolding regulatory landscape where companies will be able to use tokens for incentives, benefits, token gated ecosystems, all this kind of stuff. That's again a big direction. So having tokens be proactively involved in business ecosystems, in whatever kind of ecosystems. So that's a very, very broad, specific overview, but I think people are going to be excited.
I would have been surprised if we could have gotten some more detailed updates because, like I said,
I don't want to
it's
get in
a,
trouble.
yeah, it's a more sensitive topic. It has a lot of things that are going to be impacted by any change that's going to happen with it, with the whole ecosystem. But I'm again just happy to hear that it's being discussed. You all are taking action, and you all are listening to this community's concerns.
Absolutely.
I guess, do any of our speakers have any thoughts on this? I don't want to make you have to walk around it too much, Jake. But of course, if anybody has any other thoughts here, we'd love to go to those before we get ready to dive into some of these community questions, to add on to some of the things that we were actually talking about during this whole last space.
Maybe I can add one quick comment while people are thinking of questions. But obviously, economic nodes as well and X nodes, they are going to gain new benefits from this ecosystem. So that's just a little, obviously, we want to make sure economic nodes have benefits too. Of course, they had the VFO pool that diminished per the kind of roadmap set out in 2018. But this new ecosystem will kind of give some more power and also benefits to economic and X nodes as well. So I think that would be quite good for holders out there.
Anything you got to add here before we go to this super exciting DM I just got from somebody on the space?
Yeah, this is kind of broad, a little bit vague, but I think that over the last 14 months, what we've Jake and the foundation with, and then over these last couple of spaces, Sunny with, what we're looking for as a community, and I'm not saying anything bad in a negative way, is a little bit of perfection. And I think it's really cool. I just wanted to add in as I'm sitting here listening. It's really cool that Vechain actually wants to help meet those expectations of perfection. Like everything that we say, let's get Techno out of here. Sorry, he just spammed. Holy crap, I don't know how he did that. Anyways, it's really cool that the Vechain Foundation is actually going out of their way to try to meet our expectations. It's like everything that we bring to them, they are working on. They say, okay, we'll talk about it. Let's see what we can do. And just hearing this conversation, man, that's all I can think of. It's like, it's just really cool that you guys are trying to meet our expectations, because as holders of Vechain, as, community members in Vechain, we have high expectations. We want things to be perfect. That's how it goes. But nothing's ever perfect, but it's really cool that you guys are really going out of your way to listen to us and make changes based on our feedback. That's, like I said, it's kind of broad. It's not direct on any subject, but it's just really cool to hear this.
Yeah, and that's definitely the attitude at the foundation as well. Like the devs, all the devs we've got coming in, they're like young Web3 natives. Like the ethos in the foundation at large is definitely that Web3 spirit of hearing what people have to say. Obviously, there's a technical and strategic roadmap, but within that, you can kind of deviate and get feedback. What do people want? What do people want to see? And yeah, it's very much the culture. I think we're a Web3 protocol, and you have to listen to the people, right? Otherwise, you're just being tone deaf, and you're going to impact sentiment if you just ignore people's kind of wants and desires. And there's a lot of emphasis on that nowadays. Sunny is definitely a big proponent of that approach. So yeah, man, keep the ideas coming. We're always listening.
We definitely will. And I love that you are conscious of that, because I heard, honestly, it came from, a recent discussion I had with an investor who leads the world's largest monthly investor conversation. And he talked about how he looks at founding teams and teams of disruptive companies before, he launches millions of dollars at them. And he said one of the biggest things that turns him off about a company is an unconscious founder or management team. And what he means by that is somebody that is not listening to the market around him. Somebody that is not listening to what the community and users are saying and just going on with their mission of what they think is best. And I think it's something that you all are really expressing the opposite of that and showing that you are a conscious management team. You're a conscious foundation, building this relationship, trying to learn from your left and right before you make a decision. And it's incredible to see, because like I said, individuals that are leading waves of, disruptive innovation funding are looking for exactly what you and your team have just talked about. So just wanted to echo that and share that, because I think it's incredible to see. And we've got some new speakers up here before we go to this fun little announcement that came my way in the DMs. Michael, I see your hand is up. Welcome to the stage. Anything to add on here?
Thank you. Sorry, good morning, and thank you. I don't know if this was, I just joined, so I have a question. I seen a while ago that there was a partnership between Vechain and a company called True Trace, but I've never seen any updates about that. Is that still ongoing, or is there any thoughts on that?
Yeah, TrueTrace, they are a client, they work with Toolchain, basically. I mean, in terms of, I know they are building because I have been in touch with the founder, Tommy, and I know he has some stuff cooking. I can't really talk about any specifics, but I know, for example, he was talking with some quite large vehicle companies and a well-known US retailer. So I know they are doing stuff. Obviously, they're a third party, so I'm not necessarily, massively up to date with their day-to-days, but I have had conversations with Tommy from TrueTrace, so I know that he's alive and kicking and doing things.
Okay, okay. Because I just heard it once, and then there was nothing ever said about it again. So I was just curious if that was still ongoing.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of I guess, a recurring question from people, and it's always a weird one in the business world. Like people make announcements, the Web3 space kind of, I guess, it's more engaged, more proactive in that way. Like you get a lot more continuous updates. I don't know. The business world's a funny one. They're kind of, I guess, they're coming around to being a bit more proactive. But I know what you mean. I mean, from a human perspective, it's like you would want these companies to give more updates, but they're not necessarily inclined to give updates. So it's a weird one. But they're essentially a third party like reseller, if you know what I mean. So they take Vechain products and kind of sell them onwards. So they have a relationship with Toolchain, and they leverage Toolchain for their kind of blockchain needs for their use cases. And a lot of their stuff is supply chain related. I know they were working with a big Canadian healthcare company and also a cannabis producer somewhere in America, in the Americas. I can't remember if it was America or Canada actually, but there are things ongoing. Those are some of the use cases that I know they are fleshing out at the moment.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that.
No worries.
Thank you for your questions, Michael. We'll go to Triple Fat before we go to our fun announcement here. And by the way, awesome name, Triple Fat. That's just fantastic.
Thank you. Hey, what's going on, guys? Long time investor. Lost kind of, I don't want to say lost interest, but kind of haven't been paying attention to it too much the last 2 years, really. What's going on? When I saw you guys were at one of the Cardano summits earlier this year, so I want to know a little bit what's going on with that partnership, and I forgot what the other thing was I was going to ask. So I guess I was asked about that Cardano thing.
Yeah, we were Rare Evo. We've got Rare Evo in the crowd. So just bringing it back to the start, we were talking about the UFC and the benefits of the UFC as a kind of, I guess, a vehicle for like relationship building. And we've actually known Wes and the team for a bit longer than that, but this Cardano and Vechain kind of relationship's really grown or like accelerated with the UFC. It's been like a really great kind of vehicle for building bridges. Rare Evo itself, we worked with Wes and the gang to get Vechain there, and yeah, I mean, we're very friendly with the teams there. I mean, there's not necessarily, I wouldn't call it a partnership, but I think it's kind of symbolic of the like realization a lot of chains are having that, this is a movement, and collaboration should be done between protocols. And kudos to Charles. He gave Vechain a shout out while we were there, and there's definitely a mutual respect, and I think synergistic kind of capabilities between the ecosystems, and definitely seeing a lot of like more Cardano folks in Vechain spaces and vice versa, which I think is fantastic. That's there's mutual growth there and mutual kind of benefits all around. So I think Rare Evo represented Vechain kind of wanting to take a more solid like stance in this notion that we're building communities, we're building relationships and whatnot. And hopefully we'll be back next year, because I spoke to the guys recently and it sounds crazy. I'm not going to drop any details, but yeah, man, Cardano community are wicked. I got invited to a bunch of spaces. I did a bunch of interviews while I was there, and spaces since, and it's just it's cool. It's like people maturing, like the space maturing and just moving together, and I think that's super important. VeChain recognizes that. Cardano obviously recognizes that. Other protocols do. I think that's how we'll ultimately dominate, adoption moving forward. It's coming together as a large kind of movement.
Oh, actually, I remembered the other thing I wanted to ask. So, is there anywhere that VeChain has posted kind of like earnings or anything that's like happened with some of the projects or things they're involved in yet? I don't know if any of that is like public information where you kind of go to see, because I know I followed VeChain for a long time, but there's been a lot of different partnerships, there's been a lot of different projects, but I'm kind of curious, like, what is is anything turning into revenue yet? Even if it's not necessarily in the black yet, is VeChain producing money? In what sectors?
Yeah, so you may be aware, you have Toolchain, which is a commercial product, and which is sold by Vechain Technology. That's a revenue generating business. So they have, obviously, Walmart's the biggest client there, but they make a good amount of money off that. There is revenue coming in to the Vechain Technology. The foundation obviously it's the foundation, so it's a non-profit. So rationale with Vorge is, for the time up to now, it's kind of been reliant on the treasury, which is still a huge sum of money. And after the next bull run, realistically, the foundation will have a runway for 2-3 decades. I mean, you're probably talking billions of dollars after the next bull run, potentially. But of course, looking ahead, revenue generation, even if it's not for profit, is still going to be necessary. So that's part of the rationale of Vorge. So I don't know if you've kept up to date with that, but we kind of launched this one-stop shop platform where you can deploy anything, API, smart contracts, whatever you need, tokens, NFTs, just all kinds of stuff. And this marketplace as a service that we touched on earlier, again, this is going to be a commercial product, but it's not going to be necessarily for profit because obviously because of the legal structure of the foundation, any money that comes in obviously has to go back into tools development and that kind of financial runway. So I hope that answers your question in a roundabout way. There is a revenue generating capability from the technology, which comes through Vechain Technology, which is technically a private company that sells blockchain as a service. And then there's the foundation, which is a non-profit, which principally uses the treasury, but they are developing revenue generating tools through Vorge, MAAS, all that stuff right now. So we've got our first POC for marketplace as a service with a company, let's say, that's building out a digital marketplace for their products. Pretty big kind of brand within their field. So yeah, the intent will be for the foundation to generate revenue as well.
That was the most general one yet. A company. That was fantastic.
I don't want to go industry specific, but yeah, an Italian company. Who would have guessed? But yeah, pretty cool. We've got a lot of Italians now. I love it. They are.
I was going to say you're
Brilliant.
surrounded, man. We're everywhere. But Triple
That's
Fat,
amazing.
hope that answers your questions here. Anything else that you have on this?
Nope, that was it. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
No worries,
Thank
buddy.
you. Well, it's time to go to Rare Evo. I think you were the one with your hand up before we go to this fun update.
Yeah,
Anything that you have to add here?
I just wanted to echo Jake there and like the interchain, community building that's happening. I think it's extremely fascinating. Our event this year, I think, was 10 times better than going to like a singular event of just one chain, just because everybody had ideas that got to cross pollinate and people were talking just nonstop. And I thought it was really amazing. And an example of that for VeChain was like Python and King Apollo, who are out there commenting on the karate combat. They come from like the Web3 ETH side of gaming and stuff like that. They were able to go out there and do some commentation around the UFC and the karate combat thing that was happening, and those relationships build at live events. And I think there's a uniqueness coming to the market that we're an entire blockchain industry, much bigger than one chain, and a lot of people can come together to really push the whole industry forward and in one big push. So I think that's really important, and we really recognize and appreciate how VeChain came on board this year, 2023 with us, and really showed out, put up a great booth, some great networking, and it's really turned out to be amazing for them and what they're able to kind of bring in new people to this ecosystem. So that's really cool, and we're excited to continue going forward.
Yeah, and just further back at you guys, I think you're doing a fantastic job of being that medium for bringing people together. Because I guess principally you were like Cardano based, right? And then this year, even there was obviously we were there. There was another blockchain, if I'm not mistaken. But even talking to the community and the guys there was people on Wax, which I didn't even know that was. I mean, obviously I knew Wax, but it seems it's still got a thriving like gaming NFT space, and it was just really fascinating to have those conversations in person, like. I met Paisan, I met King Apollo. They both did kind of video content with me, and it's like again that just being there, then you have the conversations, and then these relationships form, and now they're doing amazing content at UFC events, and again bringing it back to the UFC. But it's like it's such a great vehicle. It's like we're doing all this stuff, but then the UFC is like a vehicle to just create that kind of way to get people together. But yeah, really for you guys. Smashing it. I think obviously we had a chat. I'm not going to spill any beans, but sounds like next year is going to be absolutely wild, bigger and better, and more of the same but bigger. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Way bigger and better. We're really excited, but not here to shill. Everybody just hit the follow button and
Get your tickets
appreciate
I'll
now.
chill
it.
for you. I'll chill for you. And I didn't even go to the event. I had the most FOMO ever from that event. I mean, I can promise you, I can promise you will go to that event. You will learn something. You will connect with somebody that you will build a lasting relationship from. And who knows, you might find a new technology, a new project that you fall in love with. But I can guarantee those first two things because this team just does it right. I'm so excited for next year. Rand, you and the team are so humble, but you all are crushing it. This will be a team that will be instrumental in growing the entire blockchain ecosystem over the next 3 decades, and I couldn't be more confident in it. And so, Rare Evo, I will shout you out from the rooftops because I thank you for what you've been doing, and I am so excited to send as many teams as we can to your next event. Keep crushing it. I mean, you all have opened this group up to connect with other ecosystems. And I mean, I wouldn't have met you all. We wouldn't have had all the conversations and doing the work that we've been doing. Hell, I see Stevie down there in the clubs. I see Nudes down there. I see Flawed. The Cardano community has been incredible. And like I said on multiple spaces, every time you go to a new ecosystem, you see that everybody's speaking the same language, have a different way that we're going about it. And when you bring everyone together, it's a lot more fun. So just want to shout that out. You all are incredible in Rare Evo. But
Much appreciated.
Let's get ready to go to our big, exciting announcement that one of the teams up here has. So Exoworlds, I guess we're going to give you all the stage for a second. I don't even know what you're about to drop. What you up to?
Ooh, okay. Well, I'd like to say first, I can't wait to go to the next Rare Evo event. We couldn't make it this time around. We got tons of chatter about how awesome it was, so I'm really looking forward to that next year. And as for the announcement, I got to go after this, but the announcement is this. In the Christmas spirit, I know you guys have seen that we developed an engage to earn system. So in the Christmas spirit, we're going to be rolling that out to everyone free who wants to sign up, wants to use it, utilize it, get it on their project. So Merry Christmas, contact us, DM us, and let's grow this community together.
That's awesome, team. I love that you're doing that. V fam, go take advantage of that. Hell, Cardano fam and the listeners, anybody else, go take advantage of that. That's a awesome initiative. Go check it out on their profile, dive into it. And again, I'm sure you'll have a pretty good time. But Exo, that is so damn cool. Appreciate you all sharing some holiday love here as we're getting ready to wrap up 2020.
Of course, man. Of course. So you guys be safe, and I'll listen to the rest of this later.
Exo team, thank you all for joining us. Lots of hard at. Can we see them for this incredible group that's pushing Vechain gaming forward? We're looking forward to seeing what you accomplish. Thank you for joining us. Well, let's get ready to go to some of these community questions in the comments then, because we've gotten a couple that were pretty fantastic and some that we're building on some of the discussion from last space. So let's start with the first one that I got here from Jordan Sauer. Jordan Sauer, got a shout out earlier on the space, dropping knowledge bombs here in the comments, but he had a question about toolchain and if there's any potential, Jake, for the cost to be lowered, subsidized by the foundation for teams or projects to make it even more accessible in the future for people who might want to use it. Is that anything on the roadmap or radar that you can share?
Yeah, so that's a good thing to bring up, actually. So possibly, since Jordan, maybe you've spoken with them already, they have actually introduced a kind of toolchain light, which is, I think, about, let me do quick maths, about 25% of the cost of like the full package. So there is actually a cheaper, package now. I think it's about $800 for the year, something like that. So yeah, FYI, yes, there is. And obviously, with Vorge and a lot of the things we'll be rolling out soon, you can, in certain kind of scenarios, replicate potentially what you need anyway on Vorge, which will be largely free. So yeah, something to consider as well. Like if you're looking for digital solutions, obviously once we have Marketplace as a Service up and running, that digital capability is going to be there, which I know is a very desirable thing for a lot of people. So yeah, that'll be even cheaper. So
Jordan, there you go.
Yeah.
Be
Well
on the
timed.
lookout. Yeah, well timing with that. Way to tee that up. It's almost like Jordan didn't plan for it. I swear he didn't.
That was organic,
Thank
I
you, Jordan.
promise.
Thank you, Jordan. We have another question from mooning_soon. Again, fantastic name here. Will we have a reliable stablecoin such as USDC launched in VeChain's ecosystem? Is VeChain considering looking at new stablecoins? I know this was brought up on the last space as well, but is there any further updates or any insights you can share here?
Yes. long story short, yes. So we just finished. We just signed a deal with an infrastructure provider, one of the biggest, well, basically the biggest in the world, and they're connected with like tons of enterprises, tons of institutions. They're a very big deal in the blockchain space, and we've basically just signed off with them. So we're going to be integrated, I think, either Q1 or Q2, and that opens the doors to a lot of stuff. And one of those is, we then can just have conversations with companies like Circle and USDC. So, of course, the stablecoin is important, and we know that. And obviously, it's very unfortunate what happened with Prime Trust and VUSD. The team 100% want to rectify that. And the logical route would be to go with the most trusted, regulated, prestigious, blah, blah, blah. So, watch the space on that. 100% it's a focus and something we're going to work towards achieving. And we've just taken a big step towards enabling that. We did have conversations with Circle a long time ago, and I think that was in like the peak of the bull run, and I don't think they really wanted to do any new work at that point. I mean, we got a pretty crazy quote and lead time there. So, but scenarios have changed now, so that's good.
Well, that's exciting to hear. And, I know you all mentioned on the last space that we're going to be doing some refunding of, anybody that was minting VUSD, in the past. It's all just incredible what you guys are doing to support the community, again, to answer these concerns and to make sure that, everyone has what they need to achieve success in this ecosystem. And so, I know it looks like we've got all of the questions answered here in the comments, but, Triple Fat and Rare Evo, we still got you on stage. Are there any final questions or comments that you have here as we're getting ready to wrap up today's space? Unless anybody else has, any questions, feel free to raise your hand and come up and speak. But now we'll go around for some closing thoughts. So, Triple Fat, we'll start with you, man. Anything that you have to add here?
No, I mean, it's encouraging to hear that the team has seems like they have a good plan forward. One of my concerns, one of the things I'd kind of made me lose interest a little bit with Vechain was for a while it seemed like after the supply chain product, they kind of like I thought or felt that they kind of maybe lost focus on like where they were going to go with this, and we're just kind of following, whatever the trends were. But seeing over the last year and starting to hear what they're doing, with collaboration with other chains, like it seems like they're definitely doing more than a lot of other projects out there to kind of go forward. And I definitely like some of the sponsorship deals they do. I think the UFC thing is so huge. So many people I speak to that are outside of crypto. If I mention VeChain, oh yeah, the UFC thing. And I'm like, yeah. Like so it's a lot of potential here. I like what we're doing. I'm going to stay invested. So let's onward and upward.
Hell yeah, Triple Fat. Couldn't have said it better myself. Glad to have you up on this space. You're always welcome to join us for future conversations. We do this once a month. Let's keep moving on, and we'll hand it over to Rare Evo and team. Rare Evo, Rand, how we doing? Any final thoughts here as we're getting ready to wrap up Space 14?
I appreciate you, Connor, Jake, and Ferg for hosting the space. This has been an amazing one. We learned a lot. I'm interested to talk about NFT ticketing. I don't know if it's something to squeeze in for this year, but definitely something we want to look into with the new announcements there. So informational as always, and we really appreciate you guys in the community that VeChain brings. You guys are awesome. Absolutely amazing, everybody here listening. So thank you so much, and we look forward to the next one.
We look forward to having you, and I look forward to seeing you in person again next year, my friend. So we'll be talking again soon. Well, let's hand it over to the blockchain that makes this all happen before we go to our fellow co-host. Jake, thank you for joining us on a Sunday morning for another great discussion. Any final thoughts from you as we get ready to wrap up today's space?
Yeah, I really enjoyed today. It's really important to have these spaces. Like, we put out the mediums, but medium is not necessarily the best format to not everyone wants to read an article, right? So I really appreciate the opportunity to have the platform to discuss the updates. I think it definitely gets across in a more just a better way in general. So yeah, I really love the vibes in here. It's great as always to just have a chat, talk about updates, hang out with you guys on a Sunday. That's always fun. And I'm getting excited for Rare Evo next year. Come on. Yeah, I've had a really
Thank you. Jake, thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Can we get a lot of hearts in the chat for the foundation? This all happened. Come join in the community 14 consecutive months now to chat with us about our questions, some of our ideas, and hell, take action on a few. I mean, awesome space today. We talked about a lot. We went from everything around the UFC updates, talking about some of these new tech ups going into crazy use cases with NFTs having their own wallets. Then we dove into some of the updates here with tokenomics, the grant program feedback from last space's discussion. It was phenomenal. But we're coming up right here on 2 hours. We're going to get ready to wrap up. And of course, we know the VFam still always wants more, because why wouldn't you? I mean, after a space like this, I know a lot of you are probably going to hop into spaces, continue chatting, keep the brain moving. And there's one space that's coming up here later this month that is just fantastic. December 22nd, 3 p.m. Central Time. We've got our man Chud Nufsky hosting the Vechain Community Town Hall. I just pinned it up, and I encourage you all to go check it out. Go dive into it. It's another space that happens once a month where there's no core agenda. It's kind of whatever anybody wants to talk about. We'll dive into it, and they'll go as deep as they can. It's a fantastic discussion to dive into some of the topics that might come up here, or answer any of the things that might not have been discussed. So go take advantage of it. We hope to see you on there. And Ferg, my man, any last thoughts as we get ready to close up here? I think it was a fantastic space.
Yeah, man, these spaces get better and better. I mean, today was really exciting. A lot of really cool news that we went over, especially with the Medium article. I'm just pumped. I mean, I think that the VChain Foundation really listens to the community. That's evident by Sonny Lou showing up to the past two spaces, taking on questions head first. Them weren't easy questions to answer, but we're making progress, and I think 24 is bright. And as we're heading into a bowl here, I'd say strap in, lock and load. It's gonna go down, and VChain is gonna be here every step of the way. And Jake, I really appreciate the hell out of you for 14 months of this. That's crazy. Shout out to Connor. Sig had to step out. Shout out to Sig, and shout out to everyone else. Shout out to Chud too for the community space that's pinned up top. Guys, if you don't feel comfortable getting on a space like this where it's a little bit more high level and a little bit more, I don't know, structured, but you do want to have your thoughts out there, and you want to express your opinions. Chud's a great host of that community space that you can really go up there and bring your opinion there, and you'll be listened to and you'll be heard. And Chud has a direct line to, the foundation and us and everyone else too, so you can get your thoughts out there. So I think we're in a really good spot, guys. We have the ear of the foundation. I think it's huge. I know I keep kind of saying that in different ways, but it's really big, man. Think about holding think about it if you were a kid, right? And you had like an RC car, and you're like, man, I wish this RC car, it's got a good battery, but I wish the battery lasted a little bit longer. Or I wish they had, this kind of car with this paint job on it, right? That's you're never going to get that. That's what this is. You're holding a product. You're invested in a product. You're invested in a blockchain where they're actually listening to your thoughts and they're acting on that. It's really cool. So don't take advantage of it. Don't take it for granted. Rather, take advantage of it. Excuse me. I'm hungover. I went out late last night. My brain's not working, but take advantage of it. Don't take it for granted. Come up here with your questions. Feel free to message Connor, myself, Sig, and relay anything you want to Jake. And keep on keeping on. Love you guys to death. The space is always so awesome. This is another great one. And Connor, I'll let you close her out, and then I got a little music for us to close it.
I love it. VFam, I won't keep you much longer. Go tackle your Sundays. It's been an incredible discussion. I hope you all enjoyed today. If you have ideas for next space, please reach us. Let us know what you want to talk about. We'll be putting together the agendas. I'm assuming this one will turn around a little bit quicker. And maybe we'll keep this weekend space vibe. We'll see what it looks like. But everybody, enjoy it. We hope you all have a great rest of your December. Thank you for joining us here on the 14 monthly update space. Everybody, have a great rest of your morning, evening, or afternoon. Ferg, play us out some good vibes to close things up.